Welcome, Anna and Ron Cabrera to Talks to Go. On Talks to Go, we're all about dad-daughter relationships. So, Anna, your dad has had a stellar career in education. So tell us and our audience, what effect your dad's life as an educator had on you during your formative years?
Oh gosh, it had an incredible impact for me personally and for my siblings as well. And I think it really actually goes back even before my dad in terms of why there was such a focus on education in our family. My dad's a lifelong educator, and so his direct influence was really impactful. Just watching him, his example, his ability to help teach us too outside of school and teach us in so many aspects of our lives. I have four siblings. I'm the second oldest, so we all got to enjoy his guidance as an educator in our family. But I also think, my roots date back to, you know, many generations ago. My dad's side of the family, independently, each side, my grandma and grandpa on that side immigrated from Mexico, and education was such a key, if not the key, to finding success, stability, prosperity in America and assimilating and being accepted. And so that really ran deep throughout the generations and was passed along, that education was the key to success, to being a contributing member of society, no matter which community we were in at the time. And that's still true to this day. And so I think that was something instilled in our family and my siblings and I, that we needed to work really hard in school. It wasn't a question of if we would go to college. It was, we would go to college. Which one? How are we going to get there? Could we get a scholarship? Because, going to school off an educator's salary. My mom worked part-time, but was largely home with all of my siblings and me during our younger years. Trying to find the financial means to be able to go to college was another piece of it, certainly. But education was prioritized in terms of determining how we would be able to contribute in society, but also, finding our career path that would bring fulfillment.
Did you ever have any desire to follow in your dad's footsteps as a teacher?
Maybe some, but I went to college not knowing what I wanted to exactly pursue or what I wanted to be when I grew up. And so I always thought it was interesting to teach, and I have a love of learning, and I'm sure that was a seed planted from my dad. In fact, I think back to those early seeds that he planted of education and helping me get to where I am today. He would send my siblings and I off to school with sort of this one line that was always ask good questions, ask good questions. And gosh, lo and behold, that's what I get to do for a living now.
Wow.
I'm always asking questions, especially with cable news. And as a journalist, we're always seeking answers to issues or trying to get to the bottom of stories. And so I think I really cultivated that skill set early on. And when I went to school at Washington State University, I was recruited to run cross country and track. And it turned out, part of that recruitment trip that I had from there, they, gave me a tour of their school of communication. They knew that I might be interested in studying communications. I might have said something along those lines because I knew I enjoyed performance. I also had an opportunity earlier in school, in high school, to do a little bit of journalism at the just high school student news magazine level, and thought it was kind of fun. And so I thought maybe I'll just pursue that and see where the road leads. So I knew I loved performance. I knew I loved telling stories. I knew I needed to get, some kind of financial compensation in order to make college work for me and my family. And it was like this perfect molding of all of those pieces together that led me on the path to journalism. But I still think that, teaching, educating is a piece of my job anyway.
Yeah.
If you had become a teacher, what do you think either the grade or the subject you think you would want to teach? You would have wanted to teach?
That is a really tough one because I'm a parent of two youngsters now. My son's 13, My daughter is 9. So got the elementary and middle school levels there covered. And frankly, during the pandemic, trying to help our children through education at the elementary level was really challenging. It gave me a whole new appreciation for what teachers have to, experience day in and day out, the amount of energy that they give to our kids. And I found like, whoa, how would I do it? That was sort of
Yep.
my initial reaction. So putting myself in that shoes, I don't know. I honestly don't know what grade level I would want to teach. I think that there's something that's kind of magical about each of these different grade levels and ages that I've experienced, at least with my own children. And then, of course, at the high school age, there's like a new intellectual component to teaching there. The level of depth that you can get. My brother was a middle school teacher as well for a while. Now he's in central administration with a school district in Colorado. So I don't know. That's my long-winded answer of not answering your question.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, you got to do it you got a little taste of it during the pandemic, for sure. So Ron, Anna has obviously had an illustrious career as a TV news journalist. What do you think is the best piece of advice you ever gave her to start her down that path?
That's a really good question also.
Ask good questions. That was the piece
That's
of
right.
advice.
That's a good
I'll
question
answer it
for
for you,
sure.
Dan.
And I would say, I don't know if I gave her any particular advice. I mean, besides asking good questions, but I think it's more by observation and providing the opportunity. And she's not reluctant to take the opportunity. She mentioned she liked performance and she's creative. And you already know this, but I'm just going to say as a dad, she's really smart, and picks up on things really quickly. So, I saw her doing choir. She's got a beautiful voice. She's actually a very good pianist. And so I saw all these types of things. Now, it's the performance piece. And she had done some stuff before we moved to the state of Washington, even did a tryout for like a kids radio program that, didn't move into fruition. But so I was in the school district that she was attending. I was actually in the central office. And the little story that I say about this that maybe jump-started her career is this. We had a visit from a school district in Colorado that had done a kids news program for the district. And truly, it was very slick, looked really good. And our superintendent, after these folks had left, said, we have to do something just like this. This is what we're all about. So when, this whole big thing that we're going to do this, we're going to get it done next year. And at the time, Anna was a junior. And so I came home, I said, Anna, they're going to have these tryouts. I think you'd be really good at it. And, our good fortune, she was selected. She was
I
selected.
think I was one of only 2 students who applied.
That's right.
So it was a little bit by default.
A young, a boy and a girl.
Yeah.
I remember the first presentation that they did that I saw, and the whole central office staff was there because the superintendent was really proud, and they played it. And truthfully, I mean, did not compare to the one we saw because both Anna and the other person were like really stiff talking heads. And it was, I thought, and everyone congratulated me. Oh, Anna did such a great job. I'm going, this is not at all close what I was thinking of. Obviously, as you can see, she's grown. And she's wonderful in terms of telling a story and coming across. It makes connections. So I guess that's not really telling the story about the piece of advice. I think we kind of live our advice sometimes. We do talk about sticking with things, being tenacious, working hard. I mean, she illustrated that certainly in her running and her training, but she's also, put a lot of practice as a choir singer and as a pianist during her school years and that type of thing. And so maybe that was more about that in terms of my answering the question that she's kind of begun to live. And I think that's borne the fruit of those qualities.
And let's not forget, ask good questions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Well, and I think the other piece that I'll just add that I've really appreciated and I think has helped me as a layer or foundation of support in the career that I have chosen is I just have always felt like my dad and my mom really created a household where we had high expectations, but there was also an ability for them to kind of transfer their belief in us into our belief in ourselves. And so I think there was a lot that was said and done to support myself and my siblings that made me believe that I could pursue anything that I really wanted in my heart, that I was passionate about. And if I worked hard enough, if I was a student of whatever, topic it was, whatever subject area, being, a career path or an athletic pursuit or musical pursuit, if I worked hard enough, if I dedicated time and focus, sought counsel or advice, sought feedback, that I could continue to get better and ultimately achieve the goal. And it wasn't just about the goal. It was a lot about appreciating the journey, I think, along the way. And I just think some of those sort of values and this notion of believe and you can achieve if you do the work, that is something that cuts so deep throughout our family, and it's a big part of the core of who I am. And I think that my dad really helped to establish that in me.
Yeah, I mean, that sort of goes into our next question a little bit because so when we hit our 1 year anniversary of our podcast, we wanted to do this little segment to celebrate the 1 year of, we had a new segment called TTG TNT, where we tried new things. And, obviously, if you believe, you can achieve. So that's what we sort of went into doing. We tried a bunch of new things like axe throwing, indoor skydiving. So it's a little bit different than, the goals you were
really
aiming
fun.
towards,
Yeah.
but we wanted to do things that we had never done together before. So Anna, what is one thing that you've never done with your dad that you would like to do?
One thing I've never done with my dad that I'd like to do. Gosh, you guys are really asking the tough questions here.
And it doesn't have to be like super fancy. It could be something small. I mean,
Well, I mean, I can't think of anything that I haven't done that I'm like, really feeling like an urgent want uh, to do with my dad. I love spending time with him, on whether it's like a simple thing like playing cards, or I love going for runs together. One thing that I've always valued is the shared love of running. And so I think, as I'm thinking more about this, that the Olympics that are going to be in Los Angeles and they come to the United States in a few years would be kind of a bucket list activity that I would love to share with my dad, going to a track and field event at the Olympics.
There you go.
That's
See, you
that's
got
a
one,
really
Anna.
good
You
one.
got one.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
yeah, Ron, how about for you? Is there something that came to mind for you?
Well, I really like the one that Anna just said personally,
Yeah.
because we both are track fans.
Yeah.
But one of the things that all our children gave me as a gift, I just had my birthday just last month.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. It was a milestone.
70. It was a big
2 years
one.
old. So
Nice.
I have played music off and on since I was a kid. Played piano till I was sixth grade, then I switched to trumpet and so forth. And anyway, I want to get back to playing piano. And we had this piano in the house that's been there like for 20 years and it really needed to be tuned up. So the kids have gotten the piano tuned up for me, which is no small feat, frankly. And I'm going to start resuming to play the piano and kind of have relearned a few things. But as I said, Anna was a very good pianist. And so I would love to play a duet with my daughter.
Nice.
I think that'd be a fun thing as a culminating sort of, maybe not even culminating part of a journey, but a big, punctuation part in the middle of the journey.
Yeah.
I'm curious, have either one of you seen the new Billy Joel documentary?
No, I
I
haven't.
have not. I'm curious.
As two people who really enjoy the piano, you've got to see it. You've
Okay.
got to see it. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Ooh, okay, I'm gonna add
Yeah.
that to my list.
Yeah. Anna, I'm curious, another thing, track and field. Who is your favorite track and field athlete, either past or present?
So I'm sorry, was that to me or
Yeah,
to my
yeah,
dad?
for you. Who's your
Oh,
favorite
I
track and field
didn't hear who you're addressing.
Who's your favorite track and field athlete, either past or present?
Bernard Lagat is the first person to pop into my mind. I know him as Kip. He's somebody who also ran at Washington State University. He and I shared a coach for a while who was our head cross country coach, Coach James Lee, there when I was recruited. And he ultimately went on to then coach at the University of Arizona, in part, I think, because Bernard Lagat was training there. But he coached Bernard Lagat, who has competed in, I think it's 4 Olympics.
Wow.
Wow.
And has been this close to winning the gold medal so many times. But he's somebody who's so talented, has such a beautiful stride, is so humble, and has competed at such a high level. To be able to know somebody who can compete at that level and know them as such a good person, I just admire him so much. And his ability is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Terrific. Ron, if you could trade careers with Anna for one day, just one day, what one person would you like to interview?
That's a wonderful question. And over the years, I would have said different names, but I think the one that comes to mind would actually be former President Barack Obama. I mean, he just represents a certain amount of grace and dignity, and I think a moral compass that we could all benefit from. I'd love to ask him a lot of questions. I mean, I'm sure there's things in his mind that he would say to himself, I wish I could say this, but he didn't. He showed restraint, he showed dignity. And so I would be that would be the person I would interview now.
That's a great choice.
On a role reversal, if you could step into your dad's shoes for one day, what one educational reform would you like to put in place?
An educational reform. I don't know enough about the education system to say this is the kind of reform that is needed. I mean, I cover education policy, obviously, because of the work I do and the focus on the Trump administration's goal to reform the education system right now. I've interviewed past secretaries of education who've served in multiple administrations. And I think, at least for me, the piece of the education system that I'm not sure we get right, and I don't know what the answer is, but I think it's serving people who are lower socioeconomic status and those children having the same kind of education as people who have more affluence, and being provided the foundation that is going to give them the opportunities that they deserve moving forward in the world and in their lives.
Okay.
All right. So going back to a little bit to your childhood, Anna, growing up with your dad, what is one thing that he would do that would make you go a little bit crazy? Or you might roll your eyes a little bit.
Oh,
Probably still happens. I just
no, and I don't think this is going to surprise you at all, Dad, but it was a little bit of the strictness around hanging out with friends. I go back to, we would have to have a plan well in advance if we wanted to have a sleepover, like a week in advance. Well, I mean, what child is making those types of plans with their friends in advance? Most of the time it's spur of the moment. You get this idea, you go ask your mom and dad, hey, can so-and-so spend the night tonight? Unless you're planning a birthday party or something, that has to seek approval of multiple families. So that was one that I think has always been a little like, oh, come on, Dad, come on. This is such a barrier that's unnecessary.
Totally.
Hey, Ron, at Talks to Go, we believe that turnabout is fair play. So when Anna was growing up, what is the one thing she either did or didn't do that would drive you crazy?
Well, let's see. I don't know if it drives now. I have a great appreciation because I think she still demonstrates this, and it's in contrast to her siblings. Somewhere between the start of middle school or 7th grade, junior high, you could call it, she became like a very careful neatnik. Things were always in order, and certainly there was a demonstrative contrast with her younger sister, and
True
brothers.
story. Facts.
And you know, it was like, man, she is really sensitive about things being out of place. She was uptight, I thought, you know, but actually now I see more. As an adult, she is neat. She's orderly. I think it's just the nature of the job. She has to have structure, and that helps her anticipate.
Yeah.
And I would never describe myself as a super neat. I like things neat and tidy, even organized, but I would never reach the level that Anya is right now. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing or a good thing, but those are the things I said. That's a contract, and sometimes it would kind of irritate me, frankly.
Say loosen up. I think my family, I think my husband and kids can let you know that that's something that irritates them too. It's
All
stuck
good.
with me. It's just who I am.
Yeah, all good.
Anna, if money was no object whatsoever, what is the one thing that you would buy for your dad?
Oh, I'd buy him a sports car, like
Co-
any sports car that he would want. I know
Anyone,
that he's
Ron, what sports car would you want?
Boy, she's right on the mark because I've always threatened, like, my idea of an ideal vacation would be a sports car, convertible, and just a credit card. You know, my wife is much more practical. She would say that'd be silly. Uh, let's see.
You've always been a car person.
Yeah, I guess I've always been a car person. Well, it's not the sports car I'd imagine, but actually, right now I've been given to these Lucid automobiles. They're electric vehicles, and they're highly rated. Alas, very expensive. So I'm gonna have to win the lottery or something to maybe make that happen someday. But my wife would say we will never spend that much on a car. So you know,
I think I take after mom on that one as well. But you deserve any car you want, Dad.
Ron, that begs the question, are you into motorsports at all?
um, from afar,
Mhm.
from afar. I mean, I've been to car races. My brother's much more into it, so he dragged me along this type of thing. I do have a bit of an admiration of seeing cars go fast, kind of fun, and there's a certain adrenaline type of rush when, uh, my wife would say I speed. I don't disagree. I say I'm not reckless, but I do speed. I like to get from one place to another, and there's a bit of adrenaline rush to traveling fast. So
Yeah.
that's a kind of a walk around answer to your question, but.
Yeah.
So Jill, do you want to tell Anna and Ron what you're into?
Yeah, I'm a big Formula One fan.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you see the movie?
Yes, I did. I actually saw it in 4DX. So it's like where the chairs shake with the movement in the movie and water falls from the ceiling
Oh
and
my gosh, that's
yeah,
fun.
Yeah.
it was a time for sure.
What
I
an
mean,
experience.
yeah, no, it was definitely an experience for sure. Yeah, it felt like you were in a roller coaster a little bit, but it was really fun. Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. You definitely should go see it if you're a car fan. Ron, what is the biggest wish for your daughter?
Hmm. You know, I guess my biggest wish for my daughter is that she remains supremely enthusiastic and joyful in the things that she does. That seems really broad. And it may or may not include her current career. But I just think that she has so much to offer and that the path that she takes, I was just talking to her husband about a month ago and just say, this is sort of like, being an educator, I'm always thinking like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? And got to talking a little about Anna. And kind of wondering, where does this whole journalism path going to go? I mean, it's a temperamental sort of industry, if you will, but she has a lot to offer. And mostly I want her to be really happy. So that's my biggest wish. She's feeling satisfied. She feels joy. Joy is an important thing in our family. And I want her to be joyous.
Anna, I'm curious in that regard. If you could pull back the window or pull back the curtain a little bit on your job. For example, today, as we're recording, you had to report about the mass murder, unfortunately, in Midtown Manhattan.
Yeah.
After a day like you had today, how do you kick back and relax? What do you do to decompress?
A couple things. And I think it all comes back to often family. I get a lot of joy with my family. We just have great conversations. We try to have dinner every night together at the dinner table. And it gets harder, obviously, as the kids are growing and have activities, but we usually adjust our dinner time depending on when their activities are. So just that family time is so rejuvenating for me. And I try to get a run in almost every single day. And again, that really ties back to something that my dad taught me. And that is, this love of running and movement and exercise being a habit that is just part of, a daily lifestyle. And the commitment to fitting that in has become a lifesaver in many ways. I feel like running is my moving meditation. It's not only something that really helps to keep me physically healthy, but also mentally healthy, and is a great release for me most of the time after work, because I get in and get to work so early in the day. So it's a great way to sort of finish my work day before getting into the family activities in the evening. And then lastly, we play a lot of games, just simple fun, card games, board games, those types of activities are regularly in the mix at my house on the evenings, even during a school night or work night.
Yeah.
Have you ever, I'm sorry, go ahead,
Oh
Jill.
no, I was just gonna say, is game night competitive? Like, does
Oh, super competitive.
yeah,
I am
yeah,
a deeply competitive person,
yeah,
and all in good fun,
yeah.
of course.
What's
But
what's the
yes,
go-to
no
game?
mercy.
What's the go-to game that the family is playing?
Oh, right now, it's lately been Skippo.
Oh.
We play tons of cards, so there's like a number of different card games,
Mhm.
golf, oh heck, or oh hell, but we call it oh heck at our house for the kids. Yahtzee is a big one.
Mhm.
Those are all fresh on the mind, and it's usually every night. It's okay. What do you guys want to play? And okay, Maria, you picked last night. Jack, it's your turn to pick, and
Nice.
it goes around.
Anna, having been a collegiate runner and now into it as well, have you ever run the New York City Marathon?
I have. I
You
actually
have.
ran it in 2022.
Oh, nice.
It's a bit of a sore subject in some ways, because I ran it the year of my 40th birthday. And it was my fourth marathon that I've run. I had never run New York City, but then living in New York City, I was like, this is such an iconic race. I'm going to do it. And, I hadn't run actually hadn't run a marathon since before kids. And so this was also going to be, an opportunity to sort of just test my fitness, what I'm capable of, a decade later, essentially after my last marathon. And I committed to it like I've never committed to training before, I felt like. And in the process, I had a little bit of a knee injury, but I overcame. Well, that day happened to be really, really hot and humid. And so I ran a fantastic race, I thought. And it was. I was 30 seconds from my personal best that I had
Wow.
run
Wow.
on a much flatter course in Chicago when I was, gosh, more than 10 years younger. And so it was so awesome. It just made me want to do it again and see if I could get even faster,
Mm.
even though I would be older. But maybe given the right conditions, I could, knock that PR, that personal record, out of the park. So the next year, I signed up to do it in 2023. And then I needed knee surgery.
Mm.
And so I wasn't able to come back and really get the crack at the New York City Marathon that I had hoped to get a second time. But it's a great race.
Yeah, for sure. And I know we touched on the sports car as, a wish possibly for your dad, but if you could make one other dream come true for your dad, what would it be?
I think just, I don't know about all of his dreams. I'll be totally honest. I don't know what a dream come true would be for you, Dad, other than, like I said, I know you've always loved fancy cars and have kind of had that dream of having a sports car. I know how much family means to my dad, and I think being able to really experience the home place for our family in Mexico, whatever that looks like, having an opportunity to get in touch with the family roots on an even deeper level, I think would be something that's super meaningful. And I would love to, make that happen in some way. Dad, what would be a dream of yours?
Hmm.
Here's a chance for me to learn something from you.
Well, I've always been intrigued about knowing what my cultural roots are. My parents, my dad's side of the family came from more northern Mexico, uh, state of Sinaloa. My mother's side was in the state of Puebla, and they came up to the United States, immigrated in, and worked. And as Anna alluded to, education was a big deal because it provided opportunity. But record keeping is very poor. Even my father, when Roots came out, and my father and my godfather went back to Mexico to try to do a little journey to kind of trace their roots. And things, a lot of dead ends because the record keeping was not good. And mind you, my parents came up in the 1920s. Okay, so I still have that. I have that interest. Like to follow that a bit. I'm dying to go to Mexico City. I've actually never been to Mexico City. I've been to the Yucatan and when Anna wasn't actually in middle school, we did Cancun and that type of thing, and we've had some fun doing that. But there's a journey that I need to kind of pursue to satisfy myself, I think.
There you go, Anna. You've got the dream to fulfill.
There
That's right.
actually is a Formula One race in
Yeah,
Mexico City.
That's right.
Yeah, in
There
October.
you go.
There
Yep.
you go.
So,
Hey, there's
you
an
can do
idea.
two things at once.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, we've come to the segment of Talks to Go that we call Rapid Fire Roundup. So here's the way it's going to work. We're going to give you in alternating fashion either a quick question or a choice. We want you to give us just your spontaneous response. Okay? So, Anna, I've got the first one for you. So fill in the blank. The one thing people would be most surprised to know about me is that I'm
Blank.
An
blank.
introvert.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Ron, your favorite vacation destination?
Hmm. Well, I guess I'd have to say Mexico City now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could have told you something else a couple years ago.
Vacation destination.
Anna, Mika or Joe?
Oh, don't make me choose. I love them both. But hey, ladies first. So Mika.
There you go.
Ron, the one food that is your most guilty pleasure.
Oh, man. Okay. This sounds silly, but I do like a good steak.
Oh, there
That's
you
fine.
go. Anna, when you're behind the wheel, the one thing another driver does that drives you absolutely nuts is blank.
Drives too slow.
Mm.
Lets all the cars just keep on passing.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Okay. Ron, water skiing or snow skiing?
Oh, snow skiing. I used to ski race for the University of Colorado.
Oh,
Oh,
there
look,
you go.
there you go.
Okay.
All right. Anna, if you were going on a cross-country road trip and you could take two celebrities with you, who would they be?
John Legend for good music along the way. And Taylor Swift just because she's my
Wow.
daughter's favorite. So I would
Wow.
make the day.
Girl after my own heart.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
I guess I love music too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ron, when Hollywood makes the Anna Cabrera story, who would you like to see play Anna? And it can't be Anna playing Anna.
Okay. All right. All right. Shoot, I should be paying more attention to some of these starlets nowadays.
And it could be one past or present. Okay, dead or alive.
Yeah.
We'll bring
Dead or
them.
alive.
Oh, okay.
Helpful. Not really, I would call it good with names. There is what is her name? Obviously, someone with long black hair, very attractive. Uh, shoot, I cannot
Narrow
think
it
of her
down,
name
Dad.
to save my life. But I
What's
think
she in?
oh well, this is not the person I was thinking initially, but I could live with Salma Hayek.
Ooh, that's a good
Yeah.
one.
That is a good one.
You
That's
have
a
to
good
work
one.
really on it well, though.
I like that one.
Yeah.
All right.
And Anna,
Okay, yeah.
who would play your dad?
Um, Antonio Banderas.
Ooh,
That's a great
another good
one.
one.
Yeah. Ron, if you could have a private concert for just you and Anna, who would you want to perform?
Oh boy, that's a good one. Um, I would say The Temptations.
Oh, that's a fun one.
Man after my own heart.
Yeah.
There you go.
You're hitting all the right spots.
Yeah.
I was going to guess Gloria Estefan or Linda Ronstadt or
Mm.
somebody like that.
Hey, Anna, we're going to give you the opportunity. Same question. Who would you like to have perform at your concert?
Gloria Estefan.
Okay.
She was
There
one
you
of my
go.
dad's favorites when we were growing up. We listened to, what was it, Miami Sound
Miami
Machine
Sound
over and
Machine.
over and over again. My sister and
Yep.
I would do choreographed dances to it. It was a fun one.
That's great. Ron, the one athlete you'd like to take a selfie with?
Hmm. Let me think though. Well, I guess I would have had a selfie with, and he's passed, Steve Prefontaine.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
into running.
Yeah.
He's my peer in generation. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you guys are running aficionados. There's no doubt about
Very
it.
much
No
so.
doubt about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the last one. Ron or Anna, the one word and just one word that best describes your dad.
Just one word.
One word.
Can be multi-hyphenate.
Oh gosh, that's so hard. I think of so many really wonderful words, honestly, that describe him. I'll just stick with the simple loving.
That's a great one.
Beautiful.
Ron, the same for you. The one word that best describes Anna.
Hmm. I would actually have to say the same. I think she's loving, caring.
Perfect answer. Perfect answer.
Runs in the family.
Okay. So remember at the very top of our discussion, we said that Anna, you would have an opportunity to ask a question, and here it is. It's the segment that we call cross-examination. So the way it works is, Ron, you get to ask a question of Jill. Anna, you of me. You can decide who goes first. The one caveat is the one question you cannot ask.
We actually already discussed
And we
it,
already
so it's a
discussed it.
non-issue.
Is how did this whole podcast start? Because we've been asked it so many darn times. We're sick of it. Okay. But other than that, anything is fair game.
Yep.
So you guys go.
Okay, I'll ask Jill. And you
Okay,
can question Anna.
I'm ready.
Jill, let's say you are, and then over the next episodes, 100 episodes, you're super fantastic. So people want to make a movie of it. Who would you cast in the role of you and your dad?
Oh, that's a really
That
good.
is a good
Yeah,
one.
that's a good one. I feel like okay, there's a few. Seinfeld, because yeah, I feel like you look like Jerry Seinfeld.
That's awesome.
Or George Clooney or Steve Carell. Those are like the three that I have in mind. And
And for you?
yeah, for me, I don't know.
Wow.
I've had this discussion with my friends because I feel like I don't have a celebrity lookalike.
Gang?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hmm.
I don't know. It's a really good question that I've always tried to think about, but can never have an
You want
answer
to think
to.
about it, then Anna will ask me, and then we'll come
Sure.
back. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so my question to you, George, is what is the most challenging part of working with your daughter?
And well, Anna, let me correct you.
I know what you're
I don't
asking
work
this.
with my daughter. I work for my daughter. Okay? Because first of all, if she hadn't started The Bachelor, we wouldn't be here today. Number one. Okay. Number two, I was in advertising many, many years ago, and I had a client who said to me, we can agree to disagree. And we have that as well, because there's sometimes I'll come up with ideas, but she's got the final say. But to directly answer your question, it's been an unbelievably great experience. What has been most gratifying for me is to see the personal growth in doing this. I think, and Anna, you do this for a living, all right? But I think my daughter is extremely talented in this regard. I really do. And I'm saying this and I'm not blowing smoke. I really believe that there's a podcast network out there that is missing a bet if they don't take on this young lady. I really, truly believe that.
Thanks.
So I hope I answered your question.
I'm blushing, but thank you.
One more question.
Sure.
Yeah.
Follow up.
Yes.
What do you get out of this? Neither of you can answer it. Maybe I'll ask you, Jill, and then let
Sure.
George answer the
Sure.
question as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, just learning. I mean, obviously, I've grown up one way as with my dad, and just hearing about how others have grown up and fostered their relationship with their dad has been the most fulfilling thing. And um, just, seeing different ways of life, I think has been the most fulfilling part out of all of it, like interviewing people like you. Yeah, I've just enjoyed that the most. I mean, some weeks it's just the two of us, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish we could just talk to more people because I love learning about different backgrounds and how, dads and daughters communicate with one another. So yeah.
For me, without a doubt, it's getting to meet people like the two of you. Anna, I'm sure people have got a certain perception of the on-air Anna. Okay. Here we get to see Anna as a daughter. It's a little bit different. I think you would agree. And I think we probably have had at this point somewhere between 30 and 40 guests. Most of them have been dad daughters. We created a series for those daughters who are a little bit older who unfortunately their dads are no longer with us. But it's been a remarkable run in that regard. Now,
Two others from MSNBC.
yeah, we've had a few of your colleagues as well.
Yeah, Allie and
We had
Yasmin.
Allie and her dad Lou, and we had Yasmin too, and they were
Yeah.
fantastic.
And I like to make a running joke that we're collecting MSNBC talent like Pokemon cards, like we're just getting all of you guys on here.
Now, if you
We
want to,
love that you care. Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if you want even a further follow-up, if you want to ask me what's the most frustrating thing, without a doubt, it's being able to get guests. That's
Yeah.
the most, because the
I can
battle.
relate. I relate to that in
Can,
a deep way.
Yeah.
tell me about it. I'm really interested because you've got the power of celebrity, you've got the power of NBC and MSNBC. We've got none of that. So, what are the barriers that you run into? I'm really, really interested in that.
Well, it's probably very similar to the same barriers you run into. I mean, you say power of celebrity. I don't think a lot of people who are efforting see it that way. I mean, when we're trying to effort people who've been through traumatic experiences, a lot of times they don't want to talk, right? Or
Hmm.
somebody who we want to bring on because they're a focus of some kind of wrongdoing. Obviously, they don't want to talk. So those are some of the barriers that we run up against. And then, of course, there are the celebrity types that we're seeking to reach out to, and time is limited for them. And when we have a certain specific time, I'm on air, from 10 to noon Eastern every day. That doesn't always fit with a lot of people's schedules. And so I think like those barriers are kind of universal for people who do the work that I do. And I always approach it as, if at first you don't succeed, try again.
Yep.
So, a little bit of the repetition, continuing to follow up with those people who don't come through the first time works for me oftentimes. I always try to follow up with the people who do come on to make sure they know how much I appreciated it, because I recognize it's a time that's out of their day doing other things to give us that time. I also think, circling back to just where this conversation began, being about father-daughter relationships, my dad really instilled in me to treat others with respect, no matter who the guest is, no matter the topic that it is. And that applies to somebody who's a victim of a natural disaster or crime. And it also applies to a person in a position of power who we're trying to hold accountable, always being respectful. And hopefully my body of work in how I conduct interviews will make more people feel comfortable saying yes to doing the interviews when I reach out or my team members reach out. And the other piece of it is also just the teamwork that you mentioned, George. I do have a team and other people who are reaching out on my behalf and continuing to cultivate those relationships, and also looking to them for their expertise. So I have people who are booking producers, so it's their job solely pretty much to try to get people to come and talk with us during my show. And they're really good at what they do, and they have a wonderful way about them. So I'm always learning from other people too, who are able to to land the so-called big fish of an interview.
Yeah.
Well, you're looking at the booking producers for Talks to Go. In fact, what I always find the most fascinating, and Jill has heard me say this a million times, but I think it's worth repeating. What I find the most fascinating is, and probably perhaps some of the most gratifying, is that when we get people like you who don't know us from Adam, who take a tremendous leap of faith to come on and do this. And again, we thank you for doing it.
Yeah.
We really do.
Both
Yeah.
of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, thank you. Thanks for reaching out. Thanks
Yeah.
for caring, and
Always.
for wanting to highlight our story and our family.
Yeah.
It's meaningful to be able to also just share a little bit more of who I am, because I'm not just a journalist.
Exactly.
For sure.
Before we let you both go, please let our listeners know where they can find you, follow you, any upcoming projects you have going on. Please share.
I'll start, and then Dad, you can close us out. Monday through Friday, 10 to noon Eastern on MSNBC. Would love to have all of your company joining me for Ana Cabrera Reports. That, provides news of day over a number of different subject matters: politics, crime, natural disasters, issues that, are affecting everyday Americans. And so we try to offer something for everybody, to tell good stories and to have an impact on your life, and to bring you the information that you need and that you want. And then you can also, connect with me on social media. I'm on Twitter at Ana Cabrera. I'm on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at Ana Cabrera News. And we also do some TikToks on Twitter, or TikTok videos, I should say. MSNBC and MSNBC Reports does them. I participate in those. I don't have my own TikTok account, at least not yet.
All right.
Okay.
And Ron, how about you?
Before I jump in, I have actually a little funny story.
Yeah.
I was doing some consulting work for a school district. A colleague of mine, we're helping with the district turnaround, and he did not know that Ana was my daughter. So he was making some sort of comment about watching the news and about Ana Cabrera. Oh yeah. I said, she's my daughter. He goes, you are kidding. He goes, I follow her on Twitter. I said, really? How do you do that? I mean, I didn't even have a Twitter account. So he had to tell me how had been following her for a couple of years already. And Jill, as a character, potentially, Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Oh, I like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good
That is
one.
a good one.
Yeah, to Seinfeld. Yeah.
Yeah.
You said Seinfeld, it clicked. I could see you there.
I like that,
I'll
Ron.
say you have a wonderful voice.
Oh, thank
Rough
you.
tone and tenor. I wish I'm actually already envious about it.
Oh,
It
he's
has
the
a
one
very-
with the voice. So, I guess there's genetics there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am the executive director of something called the Four Corners Latinx Leadership Academy. So I work with school leaders from Arizona, Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico. And we have an academy, a cohort that we work with through a year. Our challenge and our mission is really to advance them to be in positions and systems leaders within school districts, so we can change the current trajectory of success for our kids, particularly those kids who are marginalized, many of whom are Latino kids. And so we have an event coming up in September, my next cohort, and that's our sixth cohort. So we've been doing this for 5 years. It's really grown and gotten some traction. You can find some of this information on a website called Colorado Alas, or Co-Alas, Alas, A-L-A-S, is Spanish for wings. So we are part of an affiliate of the national organization of Alas. And so you can look me up there, and there's contact information there in terms of both. It's a common mission about really changing the trajectory of kids in public education. I'm a product of public education. I'm proud to say that Ana is a product of public education. There's a lot of good there that I'm afraid sometimes people are trying to misunderstand or misinformed. And certainly I'm afraid that they've tried to disrupt it in a very negative sort of way. So we're trying to work towards rectifying that.
Amazing.
By the way, I should add, I come from a family of teachers as well. My mom was a Spanish teacher.
Ah,
My aunts were teachers. So I have a full appreciation for what you do. And with that said, Ana Cabrera and Ron Cabrera, thank you for an educational, newsworthy, but most of all, a fun-filled Talk to Go.